A renter's policy provides coverage for those that are renting their residences because they don't own the property they are renting, and generally do not need coverage for the structure. Though there may be some exceptions depending on the lease agreement, for the most part, renter's policies usually focus on three components: personal property, loss of use, and liability. Renter's insurance is designed to cover personal property belonging to the tenants. Unfortunately, many renters are not aware of this type of coverage or dismiss it as unnecessary. Renters sometimes underestimate the value of their property and do not realize that if there is a total loss, the cost to replace everything can be substantial. To help your clients calculate the replacement cost, it is best to ask for the value of the major items, such as jewelry and furs, firearms, gold and silverware, electronics to include TVs, stereos, DVDs, speakers, computers, both hardware and software, cameras and camcorders, fine art, antique, rugs, collections. In business property, we look at inventories, samples, office equipment, and office supplies. Once the value of these items is established, I will take the total amount and multiply it by 2.5 to take into account any common items that we haven't included, such as clothing, appliances, furniture. Many insurance companies will also provide a personal property calculator based on the square footage of the rented unit. Usually, I do both and compare the two to make sure we are using the most accurate calculation for the client's true value. A major component that many renters don't think about is the potential liability that may incur due to bodily injury or damage to another person's property. These damage costs can be substantial and affect the renter's current and future income. Liability coverage will also cover legal and settlement costs. Assets, income, and future potential income should all be considered when determining the appropriate coverage amount. With my agency, we usually do not offer less than $300,000 in coverage to ensure that the client is well protected. Medical payment also fall under liability, and we normally do not recommend less than $5,000, though in many cases it may be to the client's benefit to carry an even higher amount. Loss of use is included as part of most renters' policies and is an important coverage for the insured. This coverage provides for temporary living accommodations and extra expenses incurred from being displaced. Coverage can be for a specific amount of time, a percentage of personal property, or a specific dollar amount depending on the insurance carrier. To be efficient with cost to benefit, many renters' policies will offer the choice of deductible versus complete coverage. The higher the deductible, the lower the premium for the client. The deductible amount the client should choose is dependent on their budget and the ability to take on the expenses before needing the payment from the insurance carriers. The amount of coverage may also dictate how high the deductible should be. For example, if someone has $100,000 of coverage for a personal property, taking on a $5,000 deductible may be reasonable. On the other hand, taking on a $5,000 deductible for $25,000 of coverage may not be a good offset for the client.